I hope work on your research proposal, writing assignment number 2, is going well. I just want to take the opportunity to give an overview of the discussion questions, some of the things that I see, and some key tips and reminders to keep in mind as you put the finishing touches on that research proposal. As you've seen from the discussion questions, the first discussion question focused on this issue of identifying a topic that's too broad or too narrow and the potential problems with that. Most often I'll find that students will select a topic that's too broad. I very rarely see students identify a topic that's too narrow. So be particularly careful as you select a topic that you indeed aren't too broad. Many of you made great observations concerning the availability of information, and certainly the broader the topic, the greater the availability of information, but it's very difficult to focus that topic often. And so it's important to think about subsets of a particular topic as you move forward. And certainly you can refine that topic as you move through the not only the research proposal, but the annotated bibliography and then the final research paper as well. And then the second question for the week focused on necessary details. So again, as I mentioned in my preview to this assignment, it's important to put yourself in the shoes of the reader, often the most difficult thing for a writer to do. But think to yourself, what would make this proposal convincing? If I were making let's say you were making a decision as to whether to fund this particular proposal, what information would be necessary? And as I mentioned, details in each section, including those necessary details, are very important to creating a convincing proposal, convincing someone that you have the understanding of the problem, that you have a plan for researching the problem, that you have some qualifications for that. And by qualifications, again, I mean not necessarily that you're an expert in the topic, but that you're interested in the topic, that you have some writing skills, some research skills, some analysis skills that can be used to develop that topic. And you can use experience that you had in other classes in writing and things like that to develop that. So keep that in mind. Details are important. And then thirdly, I asked you to identify 2 pieces of information in the chapter that will help you as you complete your research proposal, and explain why you think these pieces of information are particularly helpful. A lot of good observations here. I think many of you focused on scheduling. Very important to stay on top of the schedule in terms of the research. Of course, our assignments themselves create somewhat of a schedule because you have the proposal, which is due at the end of the day this Sunday. And then you have also the annotated bibliography, which in which you'll compile the sources. You have the thesis statement outline, then you have the research paper itself. So keeping on top of that test schedule is very important. Using important keyword searches, many of you mentioned. Again, I encourage you to read through other students' work so that you can see how other students are looking at the information in the text, things that they're seeing as advantages, things that they're seeing as important things to keep in mind, so that can be helpful as well. I just want to take a quick look at the rubric for this particular assignment. And I wanted to mention the importance of including all the parts. So of course, a proposal includes the necessary sections. So a cover page, you can look in the text for examples. APA formatting is what will be used. So look at the section of text that has APA formatted paper and just use that cover page. An abstract, purpose statement with rationale, the statement of qualifications, the review of the literature, and the research methods. In terms of formatting, I would recommend double spacing throughout, you could even include bold headings to separate these particular sections of the research proposal. Again, this is a bit of a different format than you may have previously used. It's a bit of a different assignment than you have done in other writing classes, and so it's okay to use some page design, bolding, to help identify particular sections of the text. In terms of the areas that I see most often as areas for improvement is making sure that you have a clear purpose and question. A research question effectively identifies the rationale for the study. That your statement of qualifications both discusses your interest in the topic and your qualification to conduct research and write the final paper. And again, you need not be an expert in the topic, but your qualifications including the writing skills necessary to do it, the analysis skills, the research skills that you have either developed or will certainly be developing as you work through the class. And then the literature review just gives an effective brief overview of the topic with 3 sources. So it takes 3 sources and gives an overview of the background of this topic. It shows that you understand some of that background as you get started in the the process. And so that's an area that I often see as a weak one. Again, you're using those three sources to kind of explain the topic, and your approach to it. And then probably most often the research methods section specifically and effectively identifies the steps that will be taken in conducting research and explain those steps, why those steps are important in answering the research questions. So where you're going to look for information, what you're going to look for, and why that information is important. Those three pieces of information are very important to the success of this section. So it's not, I'm going to look on the internet. It's where are you going to look on the internet? What kinds of organizations may you be researching? What kind of journals? What kind of databases? So more specific information in that. And then these last two really focus on the lower level details, sentence fluency, and grammar, punctuation, mechanics. So good luck as you get started on this. I'm really looking forward to writing your research proposal. You did a great job. The class as a whole did a great job on this initial reflection essay. And again, remember that this actually is probably one of the more difficult assignments in the course, because you are essentially focusing your research to some extent at this point. After you've focused it, then it's often much more easy to do the research and then to develop your thesis statement and your research paper itself, but focusing it can be challenging. So if you have questions along the way, let me know, but I'm looking forward to reading your work beginning next Monday.